All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Keyboard Warriors, presented by RepTheWarriors.com. My name is Eddie Law. That's Fred Kirby. That's just Rubacava. And we have our boy Mike from Combate Americas hanging out with us again. And you guys just went, and we were just talking about it a second ago, of a couple combates. Overall, what was the feel of the whole event for you?
Yeah, it was great. It was great being back in Fresno. I hadn't done an event there in about 8 years. They still have the picture there from the first event we ever did with Strikeforce there in 2006. It's still in the executive offices there. The Tank versus Buentella fight.
Yeah.
So it was nice being reunited with the team there. A lot of the team members are still in place there in the front office. It's a great venue. It's a great fight town. Copa Combate was a different animal than they're used to, with the country versus country, 8 fighters representing 8 different countries, one night,
Right.
8-man tournament. But I think it was very, very well received, especially the Mexico USA fights. Finale, championship, Mexico versus USA, and then every time, Mexico went in La Jaula, which is our cage, and every time USA went in there. So that's definitely those are two countries that, are very well understood and appreciated in the market there. But overall, it was a great tournament. There was some really exciting fights, some really exciting moments. Andres Quintana, put on a hell of turned in a hell of a performance that night. And I think we saw Canetti, Bruno Canetti, Ninja Canetti's brother.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I think could be a great addition to us going forward. And Marlon Gonzalez as well, the Peruvian fighter. He got eliminated in the quarterfinals, but it was by Quintana who won the tournament. So I think we identified 2 or 3 new fighters that will work for us in the future and that could be stars.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Jesse?
Oh no, I was just gonna congratulate you guys on the event. I mean, obviously, I know you guys were really excited that this was gonna be a standout event, but man, did it deliver! I think, geez, I'm trying to remember which was the fight that I started watching at that was just such an action packed fight. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been the James Porter, Albert Gonzalez, or one of those. But it was just basically just a very very awesome fight. It was just back and forth. I mean, it had everything you wanted. But other than that, I mean, like you were saying, the fact that Andres Quintana went 3 fights in a night, and really, you would think that the wrestlers or the guys that have the most strategic ways of winning these fights would be the ones to come out on top. But I mean, Andres Quintana really didn't have that type of night. He really had 3 fights that were hard fought for him. So on that note, how are you guys going to move forward? And are you guys looking to add yet another Copa Combate at another division, or are you guys thinking of doing another one in this division? What are you guys thinking of for the future for a Copa?
Well, you'll hear it here first. I think you're going to see a lightweight Copa next year, 155. And that's, Copa is going to, the idea is to finish each year with a Copa. And next year it'll be 155 pounds lightweight tournament. We've got some good up and coming fighters in that division. So I think that's the division you're going to see Copa in next year. Where it takes place, undecided. But it may not be in the U.S. Next year. Last year it was in Mexico. You may see it go elsewhere next year, but we'll see. We're actually working on the calendar, including the end of the year, the end of 2019 right now. So we're gonna make some decisions soon. But I think it's safe to say you're gonna see a lightweight Copa next year.
Nice. And one of the other things that I know that you guys talked about on the broadcast was possibly looking into a women's Copa Combate. How is that looking out for you guys? I know you guys had Corina Herrera. Her fight was amazing as well. Her guillotine finish there of Maria, what was it, Bugalzlo or something like that?
Yeah, from
Yeah, there you
Peru.
go.
Yeah, yep.
An amazing fight, and then you had kind of like the kind of like a face off with Kira Batara. How are you guys? Are you guys kind of planning for that maybe in the future, or is it just you guys are gonna, kind of put these matchups together throughout the other events?
I think it'd be very cool. I don't think we're ready yet for women's Copa, just because we don't have enough. We have three different weight classes in the women's division right now, and we don't have. I don't think we have enough talent in any one division to warrant a Copa tournament, because you really need more than eight. Eight is the bare minimum just for the main draw, but then you need to do at least a couple of alternate fights, and you really need backups for those alternates too, and backups for the fight. So it's not just, eight fighters. It's really, you're looking at 15, 16 fighters that you need to, have ready to go. And so we don't have, that number of fighters yet. We're not as deep in any, not that deep in any one women's division yet. So, over time, I'd love to. Just I don't think we're there quite yet.
Eddie?
Yeah, on that 155 division, 155 in most promotions really is kind of where you start getting those like the heavy hitters, right? And by that I mean like you start getting like one KO, like one hit KOs and stuff like that with the weight being a little higher. Is that what you guys are thinking of? Just like it's going to be even more action packed than the lighter weights?
I don't, I think it'll be equal. I think
Mm-hmm.
that there's some great fights in the bantamweight, the featherweight. And that's where we're really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Lightweight, we're first becoming strong. So I hear you that, they've got heavy hands, but I'll tell you, those featherweights hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Canetti, and look what
Yeah.
he took out Riquet with that, I think, it was really quick. And there were some quick and hard knockouts in this, like Quintana's last two fights, too. And so I think, the featherweights hit hard, the bantamweights hit hard. These guys are, they're fast, they're aggressive. And I think it's really like the fighters we field are typically young, hungry, and just, super aggressive, and they look to finish. I mean, in Guadalajara, we had an eight. This is something I never, I've been doing this a long time. Like, we had an 80% finish rate in Guadalajara the first eight
Yeah.
fights, and then either first or second round knockout or submission. So it's pretty wild, and that was across a number of weight divisions, including flyweight. So, I think it's just the nature of the fighters. Obviously at 155, they're bigger, strong. They're bigger than they are at 145 or 135. But I think that the logic is, I think you're going to see in a tournament style, a tournament format, a one night tournament, you're going to see fighters, no matter what weight class they are, go for the finishes quick to preserve, their energy for the and save themselves for the future. For the semifinals and hopefully championship stage of the tournament.
Mike,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna ask. For you guys, were you guys a little surprised at the success that Alejandro Flores? Because it seemed like he was kind of like an under the radar type of guy, and for him kind of to come out and really use a lot of his wrestling, a lot of really really good technique to really win his fights. Up until his last fight against Quintana. But were you guys kind of surprised that he was kind of the dark horse in this whole tournament?
I really wasn't. I mean, he's actually not he's a natural. Well, he's fought at bantamweight in the past. I don't know what he's going to do from here, if he's going to move back down or if he's going to stay at featherweight. But when you talk about strategy, he's a strategic fighter. I think Quintana is too. He let his hands go, in the last two fights pretty quickly, but if you watch that first fight he fought against Gonzalez, he picked them apart methodically. So both those guys are strategic fighters. Flores has shown himself to be a strategic fighter. He's got some good wrestling. And the way he fought in Monterrey back in April, similar. So he knows how to. He's methodical. He goes in there with a plan and he executes against it. And so I'm not surprised he reached the championship, and I kind of saw it. Usually tournaments don't play out the way the way the odds the odds favorites, most of the time they don't make it into the championship. It plays out very, very differently, and you see a lot of dark horses. Like look at last year's Copa, an alternate one, Levy Matakin. So that happens more often than not. This time, I feel like the two top, the top two guys, the two favorites, they made it to the championship stage. So interesting how that happens. That was also sort of a first for me. I've done a lot of tournaments. I did them with K1, and so this was unique in that respect as well.
Nice, Fred.
I got nothing. You guys are killing it.
No, I was rewatching the finish of the last fight, the Quintana Flores fight. Flores like rushed in there with the body kick and immediately starts dropping punches, and that's when Quintana comes up with that like spinning elbow,
right,
cracks him, and then just drops right on top of him and lands punches. I mean, it just finishes like that really bring his combate. Like, I just wish like more people would start watching even more, right? Like your audience is already you guys see growth every event as far as the audience numbers go.
Yeah, like I tell you that, well, we haven't released these yet, but we just got the ratings back. The TV ratings was 60% higher. Last year's ratings were strong, for last year's Copa, and we were on in the same time slot, different network, same, pretty much the same reach, same time slot. And remember, it's a midnight Eastern time slot, and this year we experienced a 60% growth, over last year. So, it was very strong. So we're very happy. We're gonna divulge more of those numbers, the exact numbers and the exact growth statistics this week. Just waiting on approval on the bullet points we submitted. But we have all the Nielsen ratings back. We don't have actually the Mexico or the LATAM numbers yet, but we have the U.S. numbers, and they're super exciting to see that the Copa the way it's grown. So I think on Spanish language TV, it's Copa has proven that there's growth there over since the first one last year. The ratings this year overall were very, very good. We have a new TV partner, Univision. It's broadcast as well as cable TV with Univision Deportes, and our digital numbers are super strong too. So this year was a really strong year for us. We took on our first national sponsor partners in Cricket Wireless, which is an AT&T company, and Monster Energy Drink, and we just did a deal with Warner Brothers to promote the Aquaman movie with the Copa event. So
there you go.
This year was a good year, yeah. And we brought of course DAZN in English. So fans now have the opportunity to watch our content, our live content in English. And we just launched a channel on Pluto TV for our tape content. So you can watch all of our archived events on Pluto TV free of charge.
Yeah, there you go. And I think Pluto TV, Jesse, you told me it's an app on your phone. I actually already have it on here, and you said it's free to download, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mike, I was going to ask you about that. How do you guys feel now, as it seems like DAZN is really starting to pick up steam here towards the end of the year, especially with the whole boxing, the big signings that they've had with boxing. Do you guys see moving forward in the next year doing more events, kind of like trying to piggyback or maybe like pick up some of the stuff from the big boxing events, usually happen on Saturday. Combate is usually on a Friday. Do you guys see that moving forward, where you guys are going to try to get that little extra push to get more people to watch your guys' stuff? Because obviously the people are watching stuff on DAZN. It's just it's sometimes I just feel like people are like, it's Friday, I'm not really going to tune into DAZN just yet. And I feel like they're missing a lot of, like I said, the Copa was just an amazing event that, if you have DAZN, might as well have been watching that because it was a great event.
Yeah, I think, they it's a new relationship still. And I think there's, we're gaining an understanding of each other and how our businesses work. And, they're doing, more promotion. They did a lot of promotion around Copa. So, hopefully they were happy with the show. We had a good contingency of folks from the zone actually at the event, as we did some of our national sponsor partners. So I think, all in all, I think the show, was appreciated. Everybody seemed to have enjoyed the show. There were some great entertainment elements added. We had Victoria Lamala from Rock Nation. She was the first Mexican woman artist to sign with Rock Nation. She performed the national anthem. We had Sin Cara from WWE with us. We had, of course, Alberto, his dad, Dos Cara Sr. So we had, some great personalities with us, La Jaula side, and, some great entertainment with, that night, in addition to the fights. So I think, I think the DAZN show went really well. Univision went really well. And I think, it's, we're waiting for the, feedback and results from the Azteca broadcast in Mexico, ESPN broadcast in Latin America, and the Gold TV in Spain just aired the fights via tape delay yesterday. So we got some great coverage out of it, and hopefully we keep building on what we started last year with the first Copa.
Nice. Let me ask you, Mike, how is it at this moment? Because every time I've been watching DAZN, and every time Campbell goes on there, it seems like everybody gets on pins and needles. What Campbell's gonna say next or do next. A couple events ago, he gave out his cell phone number on there. Kept doing it. The last couple events, he said that they've told him that he can't curse. And I think the last event, his last interview, he just dropped a couple F-bombs there. How is it with you guys around Campbell when he's because he's a very, very charismatic and exciting guy to promote stuff. It's just, it seems like, trying to rein him in is a big chore for you guys.
Yeah, he's gonna do what he does. He does it well, and he's very engaging. It's like I wish I had that energy that he has on camera, and he has a lot of experience in show business. He knows how to, he knows what people will tune into, and what people will pay for. So he's very good, commanding an audience, and he's got a lot of experience doing it. Just beyond just the UFCs and the early UFCs and starting the UFC, and he's got a career in show business and TV, and in comedy. He managed Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld. He ran some of the biggest comedy, live comedy shows, in the world. So, he's got a storied career. So, he really knows how to command an audience.
Eddie?
I know what you're referring to. I bet the Guadalajara armbar of the Gumby comment. That was great. Yeah. But I think what's funny is a lot of people didn't realize it was him. They referred it to as a combate commentator when it was
really
him. Yeah. If you saw that, the highlight went viral. And everything said combate commentator drops F-bomb, but it was Campbell. He was a guest in the booth for that fight, and he said, "Was he Gumby?" And so it was what the F is he Gumby? What was going on in that fight surprised me too. But he happened to be in the booth then, and he reacted. But yeah, that was a wild highlight that went viral because of his commentary, and also because of what was happening. The guy was like double jointed.
Yeah, no, that was nutty. All right, anything else, boys?
No.
That's it.
All right, man. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for joining us, man. You got anything to announce? Any upcoming events or anything?
Yeah, we're gonna look for us to start in February. We're putting together the calendar now. You're gonna see a minimum of 13 live events next year, all on DAZN, as well as TV, in Spanish. So, but guaranteed minimum of 13, including a Copa, which was looking like a lightweight tournament. So you heard it here first.
That sounds awesome. And again, if you guys haven't watched Combate Americas, just go to DAZN's Twitter. Just scroll back to about December 7th and watch the highlight of the KO that won that won Quintana $100,000. All right, just go see that and expect that. These guys always deliver. So, Mike, appreciate you joining us, man.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for having me. As always, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good one.
Have a good night, bro.
You too. Bye-bye.
Later.
All right, and again, I'm serious. Combate America's always with they bring this crazy knockouts and everything, and it's actually a lot of fun to watch. Even and you know what I like what he said about was the Pluto TV for free. You can watch. It's on obviously taped and everything, but you can go back and watch the other one, so you don't have to pay $10 a month like you do with UFC Fight Pass and all that. So that's pretty legit. All right.
I'm glad y'all asked what that was. I didn't know what the fuck Pluto TV was.
So. Yeah. It's a free app that
app.
Jesse told me about. Yeah. All right, boys. Plenty to talk about. UFC 231, a bunch of stuff, and actually, I actually put that as the thing we're talking about next. And people were talking, leaving some comments on YouTube.
Well, do you want to go to that? Do you want to go to what was just on Instagram just a little while ago? What Kamal Usman posted?
Yeah. How about fuck Instagram? How about that?
Fred is salty about Instagram right now. All right.
How about Instagram just suck my dick? You understand me? Shout out to YouTube.
We will go back to your to everyone's comments on UFC 231, including someone asking about Hollywood was Kloshnikov, Jessica I, Max Holloway, Shevchenko, and all that. But let's talk about that. So if you guys follow anybody on Instagram, first of all, Fred has been banned from Instagram. If you can notice, he's upset. And it was pretty stupid that they did it. You know, look, man, everyone posts these like UFC finishes and shit. How come only you get banned?
Yeah, I know. It's the man keeping me down. You understand me? But it's fine. I'll be back. You understand me? I'll be back soon enough. You
can start doing those like face-offs of man versus man buns. See what the fuck happens to this shit, man.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
think that's what did it. It's those man buns. They're trying to lock that out of Instagram.
Listen, I don't blame them.
Too many DMs heading your way, huh, Fred?
That's right, man. I was shutting down their fucking system. I was crashing their shit, me and the Beebs.
So, okay. So about 5 hours ago, one Kamaru Usman, welterweight title contender, posted his alleged agreement to fight Tyron Woodley for the title, obviously, and his side signed and all that. And the tweet or the Instagram caption says, "Hope the hand is ready, champ. The UFC bout agreement has been signed, and I'll see you soon. Hashtag ANU, hashtag Nigerian Nightmare." Fucking tagged everybody. Do you buy this as being the next fight, Fred?
Where in the world is Colby Covington?
That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, if is he hurt?
No, he didn't you hear his interview with Luke Thomas on Monday? He said he's ready to go. He's just waiting for the details to get hammered out, and he's ready to sign and go. So there's got to be something we don't know, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that makes no sense. I mean, Kamaru getting the fight is fine if Colby's hurt, but if Colby's around, it was Colby's fight. That I don't understand that really. I mean, Kamaru was dominant against RDA, but like it ain't like he just went out and just fucking knocked him unconscious and under a round or something. I mean, not enough to where he should be leapfrogging Colby Covington. And believe me, I'm not a big Colby fan, but I mean, what the fuck, right? Like, I don't know.
Let me ask you, Fred. So, do you agree with Colby on his interview with was it the MMA Hour? He was saying that he's the one who has the better resume versus Kamaru Usman. He's the one who's fought the guys, and Usman has just fought two guys that are coming off of losses, both to him. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about him saying that basically he's fought these guys before they took the loss, and now that they took the loss, and now they're fighting Kamaru Usman?
Well, no, he's an idiot. Their records are basically exactly equal for those exact reasons. Mm-hmm. His win over them isn't no better or no worse. If anything, if you wanted to squeeze an answer out of me, I would say that Kamaru probably had the more impressive wins over their neither one of them damn dudes finished anybody.
Right.
So I mean, let's just keep it a buck here. They they're basically the same fighter, for Christ's sakes. If we're keeping it fucking all the way funky,
they're super similar, honestly.
They're very similar. So of course their outcomes were their fights looked similar, not exactly the same, but similar. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Literally, the only thing Colby did was get there first. I'll give him that. He got to the names first, and then Kamaru keeps getting the names that he got first next.
So, all right. So Usman, or I'm talking about Covington and Usman have very similar as far as like guys that they fought. Usman did beat Warley Alves by decision to where Covington got guillotined by Alves. So that's a difference. But here's the last
long time ago, though, right?
Right. It's
moons and moons ago.
2016 for both of them. But let's go with the last.
Not that long ago. I thought Colby had been undefeated for a little longer than that.
No. So last 3 fights, and they're all wins, obviously, for both guys. Last 3 for Covington, Dong Hyun Kim by decision, all decisions. Dong Hyun Kim, Damian Maia, Rafael dos Anjos. And for Kamaru Usman, Emil Meek, Damian Maia, Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah, I mean, take your fucking pick, right?
At this point,
they're the same fucking guy.
Is it not a toss-up at this point? It's like fucking throw one of them and then throw the other guy. Or do you really want them to fight each other and do like an eliminator?
I mean, either fucking look. At the end of the day, I suppose the shot should be Colby's because he got there first. He had the interim belt. Yeah, he got the interim belt and he fought the right people first. But I mean, I guess that's where it ends. I suppose. Like, I don't know why they would be giving Kamaru this fight if Colby's ready to fight. That don't make no sense because they're just jumping him. And as I said, Kamaru didn't do anything that impressive. Like, they both got a bunch of decision wins, dominant, but decisions.
Do you think that it's something that we don't know? Kind of like maybe Colby's just not ready to go yet, and Kamaru is. Do you think it's something as simple as that?
One would assume, right? Unless there's just like Colby fucked DW's old lady or something. I don't like. Unless it's some craziness. Like, one would assume that Colby's saying he's ready, but he wasn't ready. I mean, look, look, from the UFC's perspective, Colby's probably a sexier fight, right? Because him and Tyron Woodley got a pass. Colby's going to shoot that mouth off. Kamaru will probably be a lot more respectful to Woodley and vice versa. So one would assume if the UFC had their druthers, they would pick Colby for this fight. So why the fuck would they just skip him being the rightful heir apparent at this present moment for a guy who's, not as sexy for the fight? Now, again, if Kamaru was Vanderlei Silva and he had this crazy fighting style and a legion of fans behind him, that'd be one thing. But fighting style for fighting style, him and Colby are fucking interchangeable.
Okay, could it be that Tyron Woodley's been offered both guys and Woodley was like, no, I'm not fighting Covington. Give me the other guy.
What's the chances in that, though? I mean,
I'm just wondering if he
doubt it.
I wonder if he's annoyed enough about Covington that he's like, fuck that. I'll fight the other guy.
You know what, though? Let's think about that possibility because Dana White has been talking mad smack on Tyron Woodley.
A lot.
How he doesn't want to fight. He hasn't fought in a long time. All this stuff that's not true, but he's like goading Tyron Woodley into a fight. So do you think this is just Tyron Woodley going, yeah, I'm not going to fight that guy. Man, go ahead, send him a contract. I'm not going to sign it. Like, that's just his way of pouting and kind of fighting back the system.
I mean, it's possible, man. But so Robert in the YouTube comment says it's money. Dana White doesn't want to pay too much. You think maybe Covington's asking for too much money, knowing that he's gonna be able to draw people in with the shit talk?
No.
I mean, Colby seems like a relatively intelligent guy,
right?
And he should. I would imagine he knows he's no Chael Sonnen yet. Don't get me wrong. Colby's a bit of a draw, but I wouldn't imagine he's stupid enough to overplay his hand to the point where he don't get maybe. But if he is, then he's an idiot because Colby's not that kind of a draw yet. I mean, yeah, you're cute, homeboy, but again, you ain't fucking Connor, you ain't Chael Sonnen, you ain't Jon Jones, you ain't a draw like that yet. If he's asking for too much money, he's a fucking idiot.
That's what I'm saying. You can price yourself out of these title shots. All right, the YouTube comments going. Robert says, "I don't know who I dislike more, Usman or Woodley. So for me, they can knock each other out." And then David Copperfield's Love Chout says, Bring on the Usman ass whooping already. I'm sick of waiting on Colby's cheesy ass. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know why or what we're waiting for as far as Colby goes, but yeah, fair enough. If he's not ready, or I don't know, man. He's saying he's ready, but like if they can't do it, then yeah, put Usman in there. Let these fuckers fight. We ain't saw Tyron defend that belt for a while. Let's do the damn thing.
What do you think about just doing what I think Robert just said? Just put one in there, and then the next one after that, no rematch clause. Let's just get this division moving. Seeing as how everybody's kind of complaining how Tyron Woodley's not defending enough. Let's just get this show going.
Well,
we got contenders lined up. Let's just go.
Here's the reason I think this should be a title eliminator. I'm saying Usman against Covington first. 2 reasons. One, if Woodley's hand still hurt, allegedly, thumb or whatever it is, then you still need more time to chill, and you can use it to like kind of grill him a little bit, right? Put him on the shelf for a little bit. But we're talking about 2 guys that fight the same style, almost the exact same. Do you really want to see 2 of the same fight back to back?
Yeah, why not?
I don't at all. Like, I mean, it's going off of the let's say, would you want to watch the Maya fight twice? You know what I mean?
But
no, that's a good point. I agree with it.
But we did watch 2 of the same fight. We saw Tyron Woodley fight what's his name, Wonderboy, twice.
Yeah. And how'd that second fight go?
Yeah, that first one was fire. The second one was dog shit.
No, you're looking at it with rose-colored glasses. You should go back and watch that first fight. A lot of the first 3 rounds was not very exciting. It was boring, and it was the last 2 rounds where it got pretty exciting.
Right.
Either fucking way. At least the last 2 rounds were good.
Yeah,
that second fight, good. All 5 rounds were trash.
Hey,
I was nodding off in my hotel room. I'll never forget it.
No. That last round was good. That last round was where we got that great picture of Wonder Boy almost looking like he got hit into retardation.
Was that the second fight?
That was the second fight.
Yeah, that was literally the only exciting part of that whole fight.
Yeah.
Was that moment in round 5.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, yeah. David Copperfield's love chat says, Dana would pull some shit like that. We're never going to see an end to this champ cherry-picking opponents.
Well, you know what, though? Let's stop trotting out the Dana White's the cause of all this. It's WME. WME is probably the one in the strings, because we know that Dana White's just out there like, okay, this is what you guys want. Okay. Hey, I'm going to sell it for you guys.
Speaking of that, sorry, I'm probably throwing another trajectory of the show all off, but did y'all hear they've canceled 233?
Yeah. Right. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, let's just talk about that now since this topic kind of stalled out. So 233 was canceled in Anaheim, California, January 26th, I think it was. It's
Dominic Cruz hurt again, right?
So Dominic Cruz gets hurt, and they're trying. First of all, they're trying to allegedly they're trying to put in Cody Garbrandt in that fight, but Cruz gets hurt again. I think that's it, but that's my opinion. And but they also pulled. That was the one that had Dillashaw versus Cejudo as the main event, right?
Right, and now they moved that over to the
ESPN
Plus first event.
Right.
So now we have a main event there at least. So yay, right?
I guess, man. It kind of takes off a sting off that fight for me. It means like, okay, so you took it off a pay-per-view to put it on online. I mean, I get what you're trying to do, trying to get everyone to jump on there, right? Get big numbers on that. But that also to me tells me like, we're gonna put you on a stream,
man. We're talking about TJ Cejudo, right?
Yep. Right.
Am I the only one that thinks this fight ain't gonna do bull jack shit?
I'm with you on that, honestly.
Now think about this.
This is not a super fight, man.
The UFC knew that though, Fred. That's why they didn't even continue the event with that as the headliner. Because they were like, yeah, this ain't gonna go nowhere. Let's just move everything around and see what we can do. Because now think about it. Now TJ and whatchamacallit, Cejudo are now on top of a card that already has a lot of controversy, has a lot of stuff behind it. So at least now it has that extra push, right? Now it has a main event that they're trying to sell us as a super fight between 2 guys that never even defended their championship yet. So whatever.
Man, fucking no, god damn it. Let me motherfucking remind you, Jack. Listen, I dig what you're saying, but they're also making this the main event of their first fucking event on ESPN. Let me remind you, y'all know what the first event on Fox was? Remember the headliner for that?
It was one fight.
Kane versus JDS.
Yeah, that's goddamn right. A little doohickey named fucking Cain Velasquez versus JDS back when that shit actually meant something. I remember that fight. That fucking fight was exciting as fuck. Now, the fight itself wasn't that exciting, but the lead up was a big fucking deal, man. At that time, those two heavyweights were fucking exciting. Fucking compare that fucking 10 years later to Cejudo, fucking TJ Dillashaw.
But Fred, now listen to me. Who's gonna watch this? It's not you. It's not me that they're trying to sell this to. They're trying to sell it to those. What's that show that Mario Lopez hosts? Extra E, whatever the hell. That's the people they're trying to get, because who did they have on that show? They had both Cejudo and TJ, face off, and Mario Lopez behind. Ooh, look at this fight. This is gonna be a great
can't
fight.
stand that motherfucker.
So all those idiots that are watching that crap. Oh yeah, we should get ESPN Plus and watch this fight, because obviously it's going to be such a great fight. See, that's what they're going for, man. Like, think about it. Like, you don't think if they had faith in that fight was going to do anything or be anything exciting, they wouldn't have held on to that pay-per-view event? They would have ran with that one. But obviously they knew it was too weak.
I mean, maybe, but you also need to make a good impression for your fucking ESPN debut. The point is, this fight is fucking trash. It's a co-main event somewhere. Like, this shouldn't be headlining any kind of important, significant fucking shit, man. Like, bro, I might be a little off here, but I kind of assume that. Let me ask y'all a question. Maybe I'm off with this. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think Sage Northcutt versus Mike Perry does more numbers than this would do.
Damn, you trying to kill Sage?
Dude, I think he's right.
Saying, no, numbers.
Yeah.
What does more, like TJ Dillashaw versus fucking Cejudo, or the Ken Doll versus goddamn Mike Perry that can't keep his trap shut for 4 seconds that we all love, using the goddamn M word on Twitter? I think those two fuckers draw more numbers. I don't know, man. I do not think this fight is a draw anywhere. And I get what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying, Jesse. Like, they took it off the pay-per-view. Clearly, they didn't have much faith in it. But they also put it in another significant spot, man. The first fight on ESPN, if you go back and look, I don't got the shit around me, and I can't remember because I'm a fucking idiot. But I guarantee you, when the UFC went to Versus, when the UFC went to Spike, when the UFC went to Fox, I guarantee you all those first headlining events were fucking goddamn who bangers.
Okay.
I feel like this is wah.
But think about it. Who was running the company back then when all those milestones happened?
Good fucking point. Yeah. DW and Joe Silva and the Fertitas and them. But I suppose that is my point, that this isn't fucking good. That's my goddamn point. This ain't the UFC of old. The UFC of old knew how to make a fucking grand entrance. This is not fucking that.
But you also have to think, on the poster, what are they going to post? 2 champions, champion versus champion on ESPN Plus. That's what they're going to attract the Modelo's Especial fans, those idiots that are just drinking that garbage and going, yeah, let's go fights. Woo!
Listen, somebody needs to fucking hire me to the UFC's marketing department. Or maybe somebody needs to tell me to shut the fuck up because I'm a moron. But I just do not think that matters, man. I don't think the belts matter. Like I said, yeah, they're 2 champions. I think fucking Sage Northcutt and Mike Perry do better numbers than I think whoever thinks in the UFC that belts make casuals tune in, I think they're fucking idiots. I think who do casuals know more? Fucking Henry Cejudo with his flyweight belt, or Vanderlei Silva? Like, I don't even think it's close, dog. Like, they're or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I do not think that belts equate to numbers at all. In certain scenarios, look, Jon Jones ain't got no dumbass belt. Whenever that fuck that dude fights Alexander Gustafsson, it's going to kick. Man, belts almost don't mean nothing anymore.
Oh, okay, Fred.
To a degree.
All right.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. So how come only, 40,000 pay-per-views were actually sold for Tito and Chuck? Because if you go out anywhere and you ask any donk, any idiot on the street and go, hey, do you know this guy that has a mohawk and wears blue flame shorts? Oh, yeah, Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Right. Nobody tuned into that fight, even though they have the names.
No. Here's the thing, though. Right? MMA is cool now. So what you have is these donkeys out there who, look, everybody knows that Chuck Liddell's a dinosaur, right? Even a donkey. So even those dudes are going, yeah, man, but he's old. Like, no, that's why Oscar De La Hoya is a fucking moron. Even the donks weren't down for that one. But the donks can be, brought into fucking, Theodore or Meathead, or you know what I mean? Like, the donkeys want to seem like they're not donkeys. So they're going to act like they know a little bit. They're going to buy into some things. You know what I'm saying? That's why people like Conor blow up and shit.
On top of that,
are you talking about MMA hipsters? Is that what you're saying? Is that what we
no, dude, look, on top of that, those donkeys, those casuals also have the internet, dude. They went on Twitter, and you know how many people reposted that video of Chuck hitting pads? Fucking everybody did that shit. They saw like that. Okay, wait a minute. That looks like an old man hitting pads. But I want to pay $40 to watch this shit.
Again, you're talking about people that are uneducated in this sport. A lot of those guys are like, oh yeah, man, look at him. He's hitting that bag. They don't know what they're looking at, man. You ask most donkeys that aren't, MMA heads or any kind of sport head, you ask Mr. Hipster, Mr. Man Bun, at the bar drinking his Pabst Blue Ribbon, hey, analyze this fight for me. He's going to be like, yeah, look at him. He's punching him in the face. That guy's winning.
Okay. Is it possible that maybe the hardcores are loud enough that the casuals hear a little bit of us going like, that fight sucks?
Yes.
And they go, wait a minute. This dude, no, wait a minute. This guy that's gonna pay the same amount of money I am for the pay-per-view, since the fight sucks, maybe I shouldn't fucking do that. Instead of Oscar De La Hoya going, this is gonna be the greatest fight ever. Chuck Liddell and fucking Tito Ortiz is gonna fight, and a bunch of other guys I don't remember, but those two guys for sure, gonna be great. People aren't like, look, the sport isn't young anymore, but it's not. It's to the point where people it's starting to pick up a little better, to where even now people are just like, all right, what the fuck are we talking about?
Right. Well, and look, here's the deal. Do you know how donkeys get influenced? By people like us. By people like us. That's real talk. They hear dicks like us that can't shut up about this shit, tell all of our stupid friends, and then they go tell all their stupid friends, and it spreads to all the fucking donks down at the fucking Hooters or wherever the fuck. And guess what? We don't care about TJ Dillashaw or fucking Henry Cejudo. So the word's not going to get out. When we care about some shit and there's a real buzz in the community, we all tell all of our little stupid friends. It's like, yo, I know you don't really watch the fights like that, but you should probably come over to this one. It's going to be like, for instance, we're probably going to lead into Max Holloway and Brian Ortega.
100%.
Not big, sexy names, but I'll bet you that it did decent numbers because donks like us wouldn't shut up to other idiots. Like, right. And the word like, yo, this is a big fight. I know you don't know what the fuck's up, but believe me, this is a big deal. You're going to want to come over and watch the fights tonight.
Yeah. And we're going to move on to 231 in a second here, but just want to read some of the YouTube comments. Benjamin Sweet says, bring all those fights from the 233 to the Phoenix card. Yes. And if that happens, I will buy you a beer, Ben. Raider says, I'm glad they canceled it. UFC should do the Anaheim card in the summer. And then UFC so unorganized. Fred's right. They should be having a big event for the first ESPN card. David Copperfield says, I've seen Mario. He's talking about Mario Levis. Oh, no. I've seen Mario in person. You can take that midget, Eddie. Look, he's a blue belt. I'm a blue belt. Make it happen, Dana. And then Benjamin says, I agree, Fred. Even though I love Cejudo versus Dillashaw fight, though, but Perry versus Sage would be sick.
Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. I like Cejudo Dillashaw. It's a good fight, but if we're talking about sexy fights and headliners and shit, you just got to keep it a buck. That's not the right combination of people that's going to really fucking bring in the gang. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a fair enough fight. It's interesting. Well, quite frankly, I'm being nice. I don't think it's that interesting. I think TJ Dillashaw is going to beat the absolute dog shit out of Henry. But either way, I'm here for it. I don't think it's going to do a lot of numbers though.
Let me ask you, Fred. Then, what would have been a better choice for you if you were, matchmaker extraordinaire Fred Kirby? Would you have taken, as some people have said, would you have taken that Cyborg Nunes fight and put it on that card? Or would you have tried to put Jones Gustafson on that card to make that ESPN card really pop and be something that people are going to tune into and really blow it up?
Cyborg, yes. Jones, no. You got to get.
I'm with that.
You got to get this money. Jones is still Jones, and so you gotta keep that on pay-per-view. But Cyborg is that interesting character to where she is what Dillashaw and Cejudo ain't. Interesting,
right? That fight.
And sorry to put TJ in there because TJ Dillashaw is actually interesting. At 35, he's got some really sexy fights. I just don't love this mixture. But Cyborg is what I'm talking about. Yeah, Cyborg low key could be fighting a tomato can, far as it goes, and she's probably gonna do bigger numbers on her own than Cejudo Dillashaw do. And now you put her in there with Amanda Nunes. Fuck yeah! Now see that's the point, right? Now your belts matter a little. Because the champions matter a little more. Like it ain't really about the belts. The belts are sprinkles on the cake, but it's because it's fucking Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. Like that's why are we here for it? Why do we want to see it? You know what I mean? Like of course they're the champs, but it's because of who the fuck they are, who they beat. Like that shit matters. Henry Cejudo just barely got the fucking belt. If this was DJ TJ, this whole and DJ beats Cejudo, this whole conversation is different.
Or how about this? What if they had a couple title defenses under their belt as of late? Like, you know, TJ had kind of fought a couple more guys, maybe like a Marlon Moraes, you know, Sergio Pettis, even though, you know, that really doesn't matter at this point, but at least had some title. See, this is what I think you and I both agree upon, Fred. These two guys just barely won the title, and now they're asking for a super fight. That's not how this works, man. Like you're saying, Amanda Nunes, she's basically cleaned out her division. Cyborg, they're flying girls in. She's like the Gabby Garcia of the UFC. You know, they're trying to just sign whoever they can, old ladies, old grandmas, you know, 35ers, 25ers, whoever can make the weight to try and fight her. You know, that's what makes that fight interesting. You actually have two women that have dominated their divisions, and now you have a super fight.
I want to pull TJ out of that. I agree with you, except TJ. I think that TJ is interesting and exciting, just not with fucking Cejudo. I know that TJ did just win the belt back, but he had a little hiccup. He never got finished. Like, you know what I'm saying? He finished Cody twice to get the belt back. I don't know. I'm here for TJ. I'm excited for dude. If he was at 35, I'd probably be pumped for whoever he's fighting. It's just him moving down to 25 to fight Cejudo in a fucking division that don't exist. I mean, they can keep that shit, Jack.
Yeah, it's like who knows what they're gonna do with that, honestly. And real quick, Pierre Rose, what up? No, you can cuss all you want to. Ain't no one getting blocked for cussing. We cuss our asses out the whole fucking time anyway. So yeah,
what, in the chat?
In the chat, yeah. She said, "What's hopefully I don't get banned for
yeah. Shit, you can definitely cuss. We don't ban nobody for nothing.
Yeah, pretty much for nothing. Like people said some outlandish shit in the chat, and I didn't give a shit. We're like, whatever.
Even if you're the one person that downvotes us, even if you're that guy.
You know, no, he can go fucking suck a dick for all I care, but and I can say that because he's a dickwad. So, but still, all right.
Hopefully, we can find some skeletons in his closet, like Iain Kidd, huh?
We'll talk about that too, ladies and gentlemen. That's fucked up. That was wild. But anyway, let's see, and then yeah. So all right, let's move on to UFC 231. Max Holloway against Brian Ortega. That was a fucking performance. That was a good fight, by the way. Brian Ortega, you know, got whooped on, but he had really good moments in the fight. But man, Max Holloway, Jesse, is Max Holloway the best featherweight of all time?
Ooh, you know, I'm gonna have to say that he just might be. He might be, just because of the fact of the way he's been able to dominate just his opponents, the way he's evolved his style. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but like the most impressive thing about that performance was that going into the fight, the reason I picked against him, and the only reason, you know, obviously, which was my whole thing, was I just didn't know how healthy he was going into that fight. His health is what was, you know, the biggest red flag for me. Now that he's crossed that line and shown that, you know, whatever happened, whatever that weight cut situation was, or whatever was wrong, is obviously not a factor anymore. So moving forward, I mean, you just gotta say that he's an incredible fighter. And what impressed me even more was the fact that his ability to really stand in front of Brian Ortega, and the way he was able to just throw these like punches that looked like they had nothing on them, And as soon as he saw the opening, he would just change the speed on him to pop Brian Ortega and really just like, frustrate and just beat up Ortega. And, to the point where it was just like too much volume. But it was just such an impressive performance. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it yet or haven't heard it, the Luke Thomas breakdown of that fight, he has some really, really interesting takes on the fight. But like I said, my most impressive thing was just his ability to really change up the speed of his punches to really confuse Ortega in that fight and really, really like just some really like ninja stuff, man. Like just stuff you don't see in most fighters. Most fighters won't have that sense of fight IQ, and this guy's just a genius at this game. So yeah, impressive. Yeah, I mean, definitely probably best featherweight ever at this point.
There you go. What about you, Fred? Best ever, or is there somebody else?
All right, listen, boys. Time for
Check, Conor McGregor.
I swear to God, if he says Conor McGregor.
Time for a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. And you're goddamn right. It ain't
this motherfucker! No,
it ain't Jose.
No.
Look, man. Look.
Hey, Fred. Bro. I hope that check clears, man.
Listen.
That probably 12 check.
Listen. He's undefeated at featherweight.
Oh boy.
His only fight that went to a decision was the win over Max, in which he fucking blew out his ACL, and he snuffed the king before Max fought the king in 7 seconds. He left the division undefeated. He beat the guy that we're talking about. He beat both of the guys that will be in consideration to be the GOAT.
Oh my God.
Fred, you're hurting my soul here.
What more could he do to fucking convince
defend once? Just once. Max did it multiple times. We're asking for one.
Who did Max defend against, though?
Jose Aldo.
Right. Yeah. Somebody that Conor starched in fucking longer than it takes me to take a fart.
And now Brian Ortega.
Ooh.
Flawless.
Is there anybody on earth that thinks that having seen what we see now, real talk, at this point, does anybody think that Conor McGregor wouldn't snuff out Brian Ortega quicker than Max did?
Oh, wow. You're crazy. Hey, Fred, come on. Look, I know you got the new Yeezy, all that nice stuff from Conor, but man, come on, man.
Bro, y'all think that Conor wouldn't put hands on Brian Ortega's face just like Max did, but Conor's hands aren't heavier? Come on, man. Conor finishes Brian Ortega in 1 to 2 rounds, tops. For sure. Brian Ortega is way too easily hittable. Listen, I picked Brian Ortega to beat Max Holloway, and I was terribly wrong. Max Holloway's hands are very good, but
okay, Fred. Wait.
Do not mistake this. Conor is not Ronda Rousey, and just because he got beat by Habib, motherfuckers be trying to act like Conor is like not.
No. Here's my question.
That dude.
Here's my question to you. If Conor McGregor and Max Holloway right now were to fight on Saturday, let's say we're having a fight and it's Saturday, who are you picking?
Conor.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Now listen, I'm not saying that Max couldn't win that fight and that the fight's not different, but make no mistake about it, styles make fights. If Habib fought Max Holloway Saturday, guess who I'm picking? Habib. Habib all day long and twice on Sunday. Styles make fights. Do not let what Max Holloway did to Brian Ortega fool you. He will not do that to Conor McGregor. Might he beat Conor? Sure. Will he outbox and beat the fuck out of Conor's face like he did to Brian Ortega?
You're not like that. No.
You're dreaming.
No, not like that. He won't do it like that.
Styles make fights.
I think it goes a lot. I think it goes a lot like the Nate Diaz fight where Conor has to keep running around the cage.
Could be. But does Max have the chin that Nate's got?
Good question.
We don't know that.
I say he does.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does. We don't know though. Can he get cracked hard as fuck? When's the last time we seen Max get cracked real hard in a fight?
Didn't Aldo land a couple of hard shots in their fight?
Somebody dropped him recently. I can't remember who.
Did they? Who?
Somebody did. I can't remember who it was.
Hey, someone in the will point it out. But I know Aldo really did land some good punches.
Here's the thing. Okay, all that aside, let me take the moment to ride Max's dick for just a minute here because he deserves it. His performance on Saturday was very fucking impressive. What the fuck? I picked Brian Ortega to win that fight. I did not think that Max was that fucking good.
Fair enough.
Or maybe I thought Brian Ortega was better than he was. But either way, Max's performance Saturday was very, very impressive. Take Conor out of the equation. Max deserves his fucking credit. And I'm kind of just fucking with y'all. If I had to say it, I would probably give it to Max because I suppose he deserves the credit. But I'm a Conor dick rider. You know I got to make the argument for my boy. He was undefeated, and he owes a look. Let me ask y'all this: if they do line up Max and Conor next, and Conor beats Max again, is it the same conversation?
No. No, it's a completely different conversation.
What if it happens at 55 though?
No. Here's what I'm saying. It's a different conversation in the fact that now you have literally the greatest fighter to ever walk the planet in Conor McGregor. Seeing as how he was able to beat the guy initially with a busted leg back before he was as good as he is, and now the guy has improved in Max Holloway, has improved leaps and bounds, and he still gets either snuffed out or he gets beat. Then you're just looking at Conor McGregor being the greatest fighter ever. That's how the conversation changes. So, like, he's not the best featherweight ever. He just becomes the greatest fighter of all time, hands down, period.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know whether you're like hyperbole or exaggerate, but I'm riding Conor's dick. But even if he beats Max, it doesn't make what happened with Habib disappear, my dude. Like,
no. What I'm saying, well, because I'm saying that everybody is saying that Max Holloway is the greatest featherweight of all time, right? Right. And the reason is because we've seen the evolution of how Max Holloway has gotten better. When he fought Conor the first time, it wasn't the same Max. And even if Max, basically it's looking at the fact that Max has evolved over, I would say, like 7 or 8 fights to become a better fighter, the best version of Max Holloway. And even that guy couldn't beat Conor McGregor, in this scenario. He definitely becomes the greatest fighter just because he was able to defeat a guy who was able to snuff out twice Jose Aldo, who was able to just do what he did to Ortega, who on his rise to his championship has just looked amazing, and he still wasn't enough for Conor McGregor.
Listen,
so Habib is just a guy who has a trick that works on people, but we haven't seen him against a guy in, let's say, I don't know, let's say like a George St. Pierre or somebody that has the wrestling that he has. In Khabib being as dominant as he is, and I'm a Khabib fan, he still was not able to put away, what was his last fight before the Conor fight? Iaquinta on late notice. See what I'm saying? Like, there's holes in his game where he should be like Max Holloway is, where he puts fighters away, he hurts them, he beats them up, he does all this thing because he is dominant, but he's not able to do that. He was able to do it to a guy who doesn't have the ground game that he does, and yet, I mean, what does that say about the guy? That he has a one trick that works pretty well. Eventually, when people get onto it and are able to stop it, then what happens? You see what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Look, man, I've been laughing at the comments. Like, people went off on this one. So Benjamin says, oh, no, sorry. Let me start here with David Copperfield's love child. He goes, I was wrong. No, fuck, I lost the shit I want to read. Here we go. Ben says, no way Conor's the best at 145. Fred's high. I'm high too, but come on. This is Pereira says, I thought 13 seconds and Fred better be trolling. Laugh my ass off. I love your guys' reactions. David Copperfield's love chat says, the fact that Aldo's still starching bitches validates Max's featherweight god status. Yeah, I mean, he's still fucking doing his thing. As far as your scenario of Max Holloway against Conor, Pereira says, LOL, Conor only gets submitted. Or I mean, Ortega versus Conor, I think is what it was. Robert agrees. Robert agrees with Fred on the. He says actually Fred might be right when talking about Conor. And then Raider came up with the good one. She goes, all Fred needs to do now is hold up a bottle of Proper 12.
If I fucking had it, so, listen,
I bet you fucking would.
Listen, y'all be trying to hate on Conor because he got beat by Habib, who's undefeated. Y'all be like switching the narrative. I see motherfuckers like, ooh, Max Holloway would kill Conor McGregor. Man, if y'all don't calm the fuck down, I'm not saying he wouldn't win the fight, but like kill Conor, y'all better fucking chill out. Y'all must have forgot who Conor was up in this bitch.
I know Eddie's opinion on this, but let me get your opinion. Do you agree with the people on Twitter and everywhere saying that, oh, look at the hype train has been stopped. That hype train, Ortega was never a real fighter. What is your opinion on that?
Whoa, wait. Ortega's not a real fighter. What the fuck's that mean?
That's stupid.
Like
I mean,
that he wasn't real. Like all this hype wasn't real.
Oh.
It wasn't merited. I already know what your opinion is, Eddie. I want to hear what Fred.
well, no, yeah, I mean that's fucking stupid, man. You don't beat the guys he beat. Like, no, that's moronic. You don't go undefeated and get to where he got on fucking luck, Jack. Yeah. It's just, and that's, I think that's disrespectful to Max Holloway. Max is really fucking good. Look, don't get it twisted. Just because I'm riding Connor's dick so hard, Max is really, really, really fucking good. Mm-hmm. So is Brian Ortega. Like, nah, no, it ain't the like, oh, something was wrong with Brian Ortega. Max is just a bad motherfucker. And again, styles make fights, man. They really do. You know, I think one of the big wins for Brian Ortega is Frankie Edgar. And I don't want to say that he got lucky in that fight, but I think if him and Frankie fight 10 times, I don't think he knocks him out 10 times in a row. No. I'm not saying he don't win the fight, but I think that particular ending might have had Brian Ortega feeling himself and his striking a little too much. Maybe. You know, I mean, that nobody really knocks Frankie out like that. And he landed that perfect uppercut and slept him. And I don't think his striking was where it really, obviously it wasn't where it needed to be. You know what I mean? He got ate up all night.
Eddie,
what up?
On the Ortega side though, what do you take solace in the performance that he had? Just not the fact that, you know, he's a guy that had to be told when to stop the fight, but what do you think was the best thing about his performance on Saturday?
About Ortega's performance?
Yeah.
Look, man, he showed, first of all, he has heart. He didn't get knocked down once, right? Like at all. Am I right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, no.
I don't remember him getting knocked down.
I think he got like dropped to a knee and then he
shot.
He like done a ninja roll or some shit like that.
Look, the guy landed body shots like that. I mean, I thought he should have kept going with the body shots. He landed some really good body shots, right? Here's the thing about Brian Ortega, and a lot of people are shitting on Henry Gracie and like, should he be a fucking head coach and a bunch of shit, whatever. Look, regardless of what your opinion is, I mean, maybe not head coach, maybe should be, who knows. From what I saw, had more of a problem with the striking than I did the grappling. Now, we didn't get to see much grappling because Ortega shot on Max Holloway. Max Holloway just happens to be a great, like he's so good at defending takedowns, it's ridiculous, right? But I think the striking coach, the striking, I could coach himself, but the striking is what he needs to work on a little more. But dude, like,
I think that's what. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I think that's what he needs to focus on. Brian Ortega is forcing the grappling exchanges. He couldn't force Max into grappling with him.
Well,
matter of fact, Max forced him into boxing, and that's why his face looked like it got ran over by a fucking truck.
Well, remember the thing that I think Henry Gracie, right? It's Henry Gracie. Kept telling him to do was clinch with them. To get the fight to the ground. But what was Max Holloway's response to that? Was those nasty inside elbows that caused the most damage. Now, coaches, when your coach, who you trust, you know, fully, is telling you that this is going to work, you just got to believe in it, you know, and you're getting pieced up by elbows. I mean, it's unfortunate, but like he went too late to, you know, dropping into guard or, you know, just dropping guard and, you know, or that spider jump that he did on him, right? The jumping guard that he tried on Max Holloway. I think it was too late in the fight for him to really pull that off. Had he tried that off maybe in the first or second round, I think it would have been a lot more successful. I think it was like in the third or fourth round when that happened. No, it had to be in the third round when they were all sweaty and he was all bloody and stuff. So it wasn't as effective as it could have been. But I think I agree with you guys. The striking wasn't on par, but I think there were certain aspects of his game that he thought he was going to be able to implement better, and Max Holloway just had a better answer for that.
And when we were talking about the hype thing with Brian Ortega, someone jumped on my Facebook status talking about Brian Ortega is all hype. I don't believe that for a second at all. You know what I mean, I think to call him all hype kind of discredits, like, look, man, my point is this. I think Brian Ortega is a really good fighter. I think Max Holloway is just such a much higher level that it almost didn't matter what Brian Ortega was going to try and do in the fight, right? Max was just that much better. So I think he just ran into I think Brian Ortega just ran into a world beater, and You know, and you got to give him both credit. And Browntick will be back. He's one of those dudes. He's young still. I think he's younger. No, he's older actually than Max, but he's still young enough to make changes and improve. So
yeah, they're both young.
Yeah, and we're starting to run out of time, so we got to talk about the other fights. But one last thing there for Jesse.
No. I was just gonna say, and I think that Mexican fighting spirit really showed. So I know Eddie was over there with his Tecate probably cheering on at least that he was.
Boy, Dos Equis, man. Tecate is like beer pong beer for me. All right, dude. What the
fuck? Awesome performance, awesome show of heart, and I think Luke Thomas said it best. If you had asked Brian Ortega to go out there and just die in the middle of the octagon, he wouldn't have even questioned it. Like, okay, no problem.
He'd have done it. All right. You guys there? Oh, sorry. I thought I froze for a second. What the fuck? I was like, oh shit, we're pumpkin time already. We're running out of time, so we're gonna get to that point at some point. I'm gonna freeze. All right. Real quick, Thiago Santos with the fucking crazy. That fight was crazy. Santos Manoa was a crazy fucking fight. That was fun as hell to watch. Thiago Santos. Quickly, Fred, future at 205.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know if he's a very fun fighter and definitely a fighter that type of guy that could win any fight on any given night. But I think he also has a pretty clearly defined ceiling. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's going to be winning the belt. Could he knock Jon Jones out? Probably. But I think if you're a smart, intelligent fighter, you can probably work your way around him. But I mean, yeah, he'll be fun for the division. Look, what the fuck, right? That fucking fight was amazing. So
yeah, I just hope he never gets another tattoo from whoever put that fucking hammer on his chest. That shit's stupid.
Man, listen, when you do what he does to people, you can have whatever the fuck you want tattooed on you.
Fair enough. I mean, what to say? Connor got a giant fucking gorilla on his, so I guess we can't talk too much shit.
Connor has a giant penis.
Yeah. Right. And not nan three of us to say nan shit to any one of them about their hideous tattoos on their chest.
No, we ain't saying shit. We ain't nothing. Anyway, all right. Gunnar Nelson gets the second round submission against Alex Oliveira. Jesse, nastiest elbow or nastiest cut you ever seen in the cage?
Quite possibly, yeah. Gunnar Nelson just impressed me in the sense that he survived that like barrage that he had to survive. And then was able to just turn that tide over and just nan that that was like by far the nastiest elbow. Those two fights to start off the pay-per-view were quite possibly some of the most exciting fights to ever start a pay-per-view. So
yeah, I kind of skipped over Hakeem Dawodu against Kyle Bochniak, but I was like, all right,
listen, go ahead and skip past that. It was an okay fight, but it was a skip-worthy fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, in regards to that fight, Dawodu really showed that he has a lot of different skills and tools. Just not a pay-per-view guy, right?
Not yet.
Right, not yet.
He can get there, but not yet.
Hold on. Let me say this quickly about the Gunnar fight before we wrap up on it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Gunnar fan. Other than that elbow, not impressed. Like as a Gunnar fan, like he looked low key. Like if we're keeping it a buck, he didn't look that great in that fight. He fucking got that takedown, and within 30 seconds, he was in the mount. And he landed that elbow, and I was like, "Son of a bitch, he won." But before that, he was getting touched up. So,
Fred, would you say he looked like a guy who hadn't been in an octagon for over a year?
Absolutely.
Yeah, or maybe he looks like a guy whose karate striking might be a little overrated, and towards the top of the division, he might start getting punched in his face a little easier. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in his next fight. But I'm a big fan. But you know that he low key pulled some bullshit out.
yeah, and real quick on the YouTube comments on that fight specifically, Pierre Rose says Cowboy cheated like a motherfucker. He did. He kept grabbing the fence. Raider says that fence holding. Yeah, the fence holding was legit. David Copperfield Love Child says Priya, which is why he deserved that elbow. Yeah, well, you and look, when you fuck up, you pay for it. All right, that's just what happens. All right, Fred Valentina Shevchenko. I was gonna say finishes, but she didn't finish shit. But fucking fun technical fighting against Jonathan Jacek. She gets the belt. Who do you throw in there with her now?
Man, I don't give a fuck.
Okay. On that note, real quick and as quick as we can, my opinion is that this women's flyweight division is about to go the way of the men's. What do you think?
I don't know, man. All bullshit aside, I don't really know. I mean, you could put her in there with Jessica I suppose. She's dislikable enough, right? So
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, you know, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm happy for Shevchenko. She's got a division. She's got a belt. She deserves it. Tough broad. let's see what happens. They need more. Women's MMA in general needs some personality and some stars. I would like some broads that start talking some shit and start. Where's the female Chael Sonnens? Where's the fucking female style benders?
They got to be somewhere.
Like, yeah, we need some personality. And like Shevchenko's amazing, but there's something lacking there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
I'm with you. Jesse Jędrzejczyk with Robert asks, do you think Jędrzejczyk is delusional already? What do you think?
No, but I think her strategy was ill-defined. I think her strategy of waiting for the third round to start trying to turn it up was just really dumb. Seeing as how it worked for Nunes, kind of like, you know, where Nunes was able to kind of turn it up towards the end, even though she ran out of gas. It definitely seemed that Shevchenko in that fight ran out of gas as well. And in this fight, it looked like she was running out of gas. But it just seemed like she didn't spend enough in the first couple rounds for that strategy to work. So, I mean, it's not delusional. I really think that Jędrzejczyk with a little bit more of an up tempo. And I kept thinking, if Jędrzejczyk just takes maybe like a step and a half forward, she would land a lot more of her punches. She just seemed like her range wasn't there. So I think they'll go back, especially Mike Brown in her corner from American Top Team. I think he's smart enough to know, you know, the changes they need to make to really make that a winnable fight for her.
For sure.
And she's just got to execute that. All
right, one fight to set up against Max Holloway, regardless of weight division. Throw out a name, Jesse.
God, at this point, I would just say Moicano, Renato Moicano.
Okay, Fred.
I
hate you, Jesse. You're like no fun at all. Renato Moicano.
Hey, remember. I go home at night, sleep in my bed with my wife. It's all good, baby.
I can sleep at night.
Yeah, whatever. Renato Moicano. Listen. The fight to make is the rematch with Conor McGregor in Hawaii. Let's have some fucking fun. Welcome him to 55. And if Conor wins that fight, he's officially back, right? Will anybody deny Conor McGregor if he comes in and fucking knocks out Max Holloway at this point in the game? And on the flip side, Max gets a red panty night that he fucking deserves, man. In Hawaii. Let's 100%. Have some fucking fun.
Yeah. Tony Ferguson fight. It just sounds too goddamn good to me. Tony Ferguson against Max Holloway sounds like a shitload of fun. All right. To end the show, we'll talk about a little bit about this controversy with, obviously everyone's heard. It broke Friday night, but if you guys remember Iain Kidd from formerly of Bloody Elbow now, he was arrested and he got like a slap on the wrist for a sentence for having a shitload of child pornography on his computer and like bestiality stuff. It's crazy shit. Nobody saw it coming. The thing is this dude kept it under wraps since like August, July of this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only reason it got found out, now someone told me, people were saying that Front Row Brian's the one that posted that let it out. There's two versions of the story. One was that Front Row Brian put it out there. The other was that Iain Kidd was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter and was just like shitting on him for whatever reason, right? And whoever that was Googled this motherfucker, okay? And found the article and set that shit out there. And it's just a wild thing. People going at Bloody Elbow about it. Bloody Elbow took way too long to respond, but I understand they had to go through the legal thing. But Fred, your thoughts on this whole crazy fucking thing that went down?
I don't know, man. I mean, in the words of the great Max Holloway, it is what it is.
It's crazy though.
I never listened to the podcast with dude. I wasn't a big fan of his work. I used to fuck with Bloody Elbow a bit more than I do now. Connor Rebush lives in Cincinnati, which is close to my city. Like I've kind of met dude before a couple times. So Bloody Elbow's cool. I fuck with Crooklyn. Yeah, and Zane and you know the breakdowns and shit. Like the site is cool. this particular cat, I wasn't familiar with. Yeah, like I heard his name, but I never really consumed much of his shit. I think he's more of like a writer or a journalist type character.
He's a writer, and he was on that. He used to be on that Three Amigos podcast, whatever. But he's more known for his PED knowledge. He fucking knew his shit. Right.
Yeah. So I ain't got a major opinion on him. I guess it did take Bloody Elbow a little while to like, bastardize dude. It seemed like he was like still writing for the site after all this shit happened, which is a little questionable. But at the end of the day, I don't really go to Bloody Elbow like that anyways no more. I don't really go to any MMA website like that. I consume some podcasts and shit, but I'm not trying to really read think pieces from anybody. So
fair enough.
Sad though. I mean, anytime you hear some shit like that, it's like we ain't trying to get wrapped up with that shit. So we're like, I feel like we all kind of, as MMA fans in this hardcore community, when something happens, it like reflects badly upon all of us. So it's like that's kind of a bummer.
Right. Jesse, okay.
No, I was just gonna say in Scotland, he the fact that he didn't even really go to jail. Scotland needs to get their fucking shit together and do something about that. But that's it. That was the biggest takeaway I took from all this, is that he didn't actually go to prison behind that shit.
Right, and he got basically community service and probation, basically, and a fine. I mean, it's fucking disgusting. Yeah, Jesse, what do you think about this whole thing, man? Because I saw it and I was just like, hey, I want to say I was shocked, but I somehow wasn't. What do you think?
Like Fred, I didn't have too much knowledge of this guy. I mean, I had heard, the articles, when something would come out, they'd be like, oh, Iain Kidd, reported this and this and this about the substance or whatever. Like they always quoted him and stuff. But I didn't know he had so much involvement at Bloody Elbow. And, like you guys are saying, the whole Vox media, kind of taking their time with their lawyers and stuff and trying to figure out how to address it and what way to address it and all that. I mean, it's simple. As soon as you find out, you cut ties with the person, you verify that it is that person, and you cut ties, and, you try to make as much space between you and that person. And honestly, it's disgusting, as a father of two children, it just boils my blood to know that there's pieces of crap people out there that, love to take advantage of kids and, have pictures, videos, and other kinds of stuff, and it's depressing. It's depressing to hear that, there's a possibility to interact with these type of people, and that, it just sucks, man. It just really sucks that this happens. But, like Fred says, it's really disappointing too that he didn't even get his comeuppance. The fact that he begged his way to some leniency just boils my blood.
It's disgusting. Where I'm at with this is like, it's just weird. I guarantee every outlet, not just MMA, but every outlet is gonna be betting their people now. Gonna be checking, what the fuck you have, right? But like we can't. I think people just need to get off. Kind of let just relax on shitting on Bloody Elbow on this. No one's ever had to deal with shit like this before. Not in MMA media anyway. Like nobody's had to deal with something like this before. So just it's always the first one that has to deal with it that kind of sets the precedent. Like, don't wait forever to make a statement. Don't wait so long. I mean, like shit like that. But like I've talked to the dude on Twitter back and forth a few times. It was never like in like bad spirit, whatever. So when I saw that it was him, I was like, get the fuck out of here. But I wasn't super shocked because of the interaction here with other people. That being said, I put out a tweet that day. I was like, man, it seems like it's a cuntier Twitter accounts that have the most skeletons in their closet. And for some reason, actually not for some reason, I understood why they did it. But people started posting names in the comments. Like, I guess when you look into Snowden now, or Front Row Brian and all these other accounts, I'm like, hey, I didn't say any of that. Chill the fuck out. All I said was this fucking weirdo was out of his mind. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we go?
Real quick. Of course, the Gem City Jesus podcast. Always check that out on SoundCloud. I've been a terrible fan. I haven't been checking you guys out recently, but
we've been sporadic as fuck. But we did actually just put one out. I'm banned from Instagram, so my promoting things are down. It's fucking chaos right now. But we did just put out an episode. We were talking about the them banning that fucking Baby It's Cold Outside and Kevin Hart controversy. Yeah, it's
and the whole Kevin Hart thing is just dumb. But as I was saying, Fred's podcast, always check it out. Always some good stuff there. And of course, every once in a while, Eddie will post some stuff up there where he shares his the garbage that comes out of his head. So check that out. But also, the other thing I wanted to share with you guys, I don't know if you guys saw it. I know Eddie saw it. But if for all the ladies out there, if you ever wanted to know what it looks like for an MMA superstar to jerk off in front of a camera, there is a video of Randy Couture doing the business.
Okay, so I didn't watch the actual video. All I saw was fucking Brendan Schaub and Brian Count's reaction to it, and I died laughing. Oh my god, I've never laughed at Schaub like that before, but that was fucking. He starts chanting USA while watching Brian Couture jack out. It's hilarious. Seriously, go look. I don't know whose Instagrams. I know I tweeted it out, but I think it's on Brendan Schaub's Instagram. Just that bit is worth watching. The rest of it, I don't really care for the show, but that one bit was fucking hilarious. Definitely go see that shit. All right. And of course, a shout out to Mike Afrowitz. How you say his name? Afrowitz. Afrowitz. Sorry, appreciate it. All right, apologize. Afrowitz. Combate Americas. Copa Combate was a shit. That lightweight one's gonna be fucking fire next February. I think he said next February.
No, the lightweight at the end of the year.
Right, in the my bad. All right.
Yeah.
Here with it.
Yeah, but these guys get paid fucking prize money to fight, so fuck yeah. All right, shout out to everyone that tuned in, and a lot of people tuned in. I appreciate you guys. George Mendes, Benjamin here, Robert, David Copperfield's love child. I'm probably one of my favorite names out here now. Raiders here. Priya Rose made it. Thanks for coming on. Fucking tons of names. I need Gary Coleman was here for a little bit. Hex Rex, everybody, all you motherfuckers that fuck with us, we appreciate you guys. We're here because we love shooting shit with you guys fucking every Wednesday night. And we're going to keep doing it as long as it's fun. So, all right, for myself, you can follow Fred Kirby at Kirby_MMA. And soon to return to Instagram, maybe sometime, who knows. And Jesse's, that's 11983. I'm at Ela31, and the show is at Keyboard MMA. Shout out to Spices Pros. They're using Keyboard MMA as a 10% off promo code right now. So Keyboard MMA, Mexican candy, spices, all that shit. Go get it. And then repthewarriors.com, represent. Appreciate you guys. All right. For myself, Fred Kirby, just Good night. Take care of yourselves. Good night, wheelchair.